Hi everyone. This video describes how to start a new client-directed home care invoicing plan. The first step is to determine if CDHCI is the right service delivery model for your client. So you're going to discuss CDHCI with the client and or the formal decision maker. So you're going to review the CDHCI information sheet and the CDHCI client handbook to see if it's a good fit for them. I'm going to show you where the forms are, where both documents are on SharePoint. You're going to go to the Home Support Service tile on SharePoint. And go to Client Directed Home Care Invoicing tile. Then you're going to click to open the information sheet on SharePoint. This is the information sheet, and it gives the client information about client-directed home care invoicing. Next, we're going to open up the client's handbook. This is the client handbook. Then you're going to determine if the client is eligible for client-directed home care invoicing by reviewing who is eligible for CDHCI. Please note that the client or the formal decision maker determines who will manage CDHCI. This can be the client or the CDHCI manager. The formal decision maker may choose to be the CDHCI manager or nominate a person who has no legal authority but is willing and able to manage CDHCI. Next, we're going to develop a service care plan. So you're going to review the service care plan guide for information on how to complete a service care plan. So you're going to go on SharePoint, click on the service care plan guide. That's going to open up, and this will show you how to complete a CDHCI service care plan. I have an example of a service care plan for CDHCI saved for Clark Kent. And we're going to be talking about this at a later time, but it's an example of a service care plan. Please note, the case manager can authorize CDHCI per the home support guidelines parameters. If CDHCI is in combination with contracted service provider or in-house services, the total hours per week must comply with service guideline parameters. For example, Service Group 4 is a maximum of 40 hours per week for all care. If the client has 34 hours per week for care through contracted service provider, they could be approved for 6 hours of care per week through CDHCI. If the total care plan exceeds service group parameters for service group 1 to 3, and or the client does not meet the criteria for these services, for example, homemaking, respite, or home exercise, and the hours are less than 40 hours per week, follow the service care plan exception process. If the total care plan exceeds 40 hours per week, follow the care or extraordinary care plan funding process. The case manager gives the client or the client-directed home care invoicing manager a copy of the service care plan. It is preferred that this document is given in person, but the case manager can email it to the client or the CDHCI manager following the process outlined in the Emailing the Client Care Plan QRG. I'm just going to quickly open the QRG. So here it is. It is also found in SharePoint. The Case manager may save the client service care plan to the folder on the team drive to facilitate updating the plan at a later time. So the next step, we're going to prepare and sign the CDHCI document. First, we're going to obtain the client or the formal decision maker signature on the consent to disclose information form. Here is the consent to disclose health information form. The consent allows AHS to share the client's demographic information and the client or the CDHCI manager's contact information with Alberta Blue Cross. Obtain a copy of legal documents showing the formal decision maker authority. The CDHCI manager does not need to be the formal decision maker. Next, we're going to prepare the CDHCI letter of agreement with the approval date and the monthly amount for the client or the CDHCI manager's signature and review it at the time of signing. So we're going to go back on SharePoint. The CDHCI letter of agreement is here on SharePoint. So we're going to click to open. New CDHCI plan start date should be the 1st of the month. Note that both the client and the CDHCI manager can sign the CDHCI letter of agreement if desired. If the CDHCI manager is not the formal decision maker, the formal decision maker is not required to sign the CDHCI letter of agreement. It is preferred that the consent to disclose health information and the CDHCI letter of agreement are signed in person, but the case manager can email them to the client or the formal decision maker or the CDHCI manager as needed, following the process outlined in the emailing the client care plan QRG. These documents must be printed, signed in ink, and returned to AHS, either by fax, email, or mail. If the case manager meets the client or the CDHCI manager in person to sign the consent to disclose health information and the CDHCI letter of agreement, it is recommended that the case manager prints out 2 copies, leave a copy with the CDHCI manager or the client, and brings the signed copy back to the home care office. Next, we're going to talk about how to complete a CDHCI form. So I'm going to go to SharePoint and open up a CDHCI form. It is best practice to save this on your team shared drive. I'm going to go to my team shared drive. I'm going to go to my team shared drive and I'm going to call my training video. On your team drive, you're going to save it with a client's name and Paris ID. After saved, you're going to complete today's dates, the case manager's name, the client's demographic information. For section B, you're going to direct Alberta Blue Cross where to send correspondence to. If the client is managing CDHCI, leave the name line blank and insert the client's email address, and phone number. If a CDHCI manager is managing CDHCI, you're going to insert the first and last name of the CDHCI manager and precede it with the C/O, which just means care of, and type in the mail address and phone number of the CDHCI manager. Please note that the CDHCI manager may be different from the client or the formal decision maker. So in this case, the client is managing the CDHCI by themselves. So we're going to put in the client's mail, CD, mail address, email address, and phone number. Next, you're going to fill out section C. This is a new agreement, so you're going to check the new agreement box. Next, you're going to fill out section C. This is a new agreement, so you're going to check the new agreement box. The start date is usually the first date of the month after the service care plan was done. So January 12, 2022 was when the service care plan was completed. So the first day of the month will be February 1st, 2022. And the end date of authorization is always the last date of the month, and the term cannot exceed 1 year. So a year from February 2022 would be January 31st, 2023. I'm just going to change that to 2023. Okay, then we're going to go down to fill out section F. So you're going to enter the information under the new and current agreement hours. So for here, for personal care hours, we have 11.33. So we're going to enter 11 and 0.33 in there. Excel automatically calculates that for you. We don't have any homemaking hours, that's 0, so we're going to leave that as this. And we don't have any respect hours, we're going to leave that as this. Okay. Next, we're going to enter in the AHS unit reference number. So to do that, we're going to know your unit number. You're going to go into the instruction page, tell, and Excel, and scroll all the way to the bottom. So you're going to select the unit number that for your team. For this, I am on the Senior Central Northwest 1 team. So my unit number is 225. I'm going to go back to my form and put in 225. And you're going to add in the client service group and PPS score from your service care plan. So I know that my client service group is 2, so I'm going to put it there. Next, you're going to check that this request meets the service guideline parameters. I'm going to check the box. I'm also going to check the box if I approved any extraordinary care funding or added care or service care plan exception. I didn't have any approved form, so I'm not going to attach anything. So I'm going to leave that unchecked. You're going to check if you had any fee determination for homemaking completed. There was none here, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. You're also going to check the box if CDHCI is in combination with contracted or in-house home support services. It's not in this case, so I'm also going to leave that unchecked, and I'm not going to put in any total weekly combined contracted service hours or in-house hours. Then I'm just going to add in my name and my title. And I think that's how to complete the CDHCI form. The next step is you're going to send the document to the business support office, and your email address is clientdirectedcare.calgary@ahs.car. So the following documents you're going to send are the consent to disclose information form, the completed document that you've just done, and any legal authority to provide consent to disclose form that you used. You're going to send the letter of agreement That's this document that I previously talked about. You're going to also send the CDHCI form that we just completed. This form has to be sent in Excel, in the same Excel format that we just completed it in. And then you're also going to send the service care plan form. You can send this in Excel or you can send this in PDF, that's okay. And you're going to send all of that to the business support office with and the email address that I previously talked about, clientdirectedcare.calgary@ahs.com. If you did have any signed, approved, or added care or extraordinary care funding, you're also going to attach that and send that to the business office. The business office, when they receive all the information, they're going to calculate and prorate hours for the portion of the month the client is eligible for services. They're going to send the enrollment information to Alberta Blue Cross. They're also going to add CDHCI authorization to Home First, and you're going to scan the CDHCI document to Paris external documents. A Better Blue Cross will then prepare and approve and send a welcome letter and information package to the client or the CDHCI manager or anybody listed on the client form. And that's the process for getting a new client onto client-directed home care invoicing.